Pressure at a glance towards everyone. Yuan Sun with Hongfu natural resources. They also see it as the highest level of spiritual mastery. But under a small chess piece of Simawi, it's like a mountain coming down. In the eyes constantly stagnating back a few steps. The spirit is a little scary. But right now, the wind is not afraid. Move forward. Gently stretch fingers. For an hour to grab the flying chess piece. Bring the gas. That makes people breathe in the blink of an eye. But he didn't stop complaining. I can't believe the power of fire is so powerful. It takes a lot of energy to help him. The same as the horse above is equally terrifying. I haven't seen him in years. I can't believe the power of the wind. It could have been this strong. The corners of his mouth revealed a scornful smile. Hongfu and Fong looked at his horse. We calmly said, Master of Fine Arts. It has a holy name. What can a martial artist like you do? The flag with Mr. Really humiliating the old man himself. Don't show the bad anymore. Already said. He laughed for an hour and broke his finger. Bring the Kier flag shot back. Right now, there's a pressure cooker. Stronger than the previous power of Simawi. Head towards the Emperor. The horse is in a hurry to move forward. In front of the Emperor. Grab the Kier chess piece. But with this great effort, he couldn't take a few steps back. My sister is a little scared. Looking at the king, he said. 15 not seen. The power of Mr. That's really rapid progress. I'm afraid the old man is fighting with the master now. They don't win either. There's no genius of Mr. Sima. No old man can compare. It's just that the first 4 horses are immersed in the magic. The old man is always trying to practice. Not without laughing for an hour. Hongfu and Van glanced at the group a little. He laughed and left cold. The driver looked at the people leaving. In the heart of relentless terror. You can force the dragon god to protect Maui. Can't help but leave footprints on the ground. You can see the power of a moment ago. Of Hongfu lightning. How scary. The Emperor suddenly stood up, furiously swinging his sleeves. The glass on the table fell to the ground. Loudly scold these psychopathic criminals. Maybe that makes sense. Dare to be on my court. Your Majesty is less angry. The woman next to him hurriedly bowed her head. There was a wine farm here. This man has a good tongue. Logically we say no to him. That's why I made a deal with the Emperor. They want to squeeze their gas. But did not expect the power of the wind is so strong. On the contrary, Your Majesty is disgraced. To this is your fault. Please be less angry. The Emperor said nothing. It's just Thai's malicious eyes flashing light. Lonely girl fighting next to gently stroking beard. Face stops, heavy breathing. Just this time, our plan to borrow Ba Min Cup. To attack the glory of the Emperor. Even the worst can divide them. Make them less likely to gather with the Emperor. But now the king is saving them. They'd probably pull the flock together later. Next to the king. More. Too hard half a day. It is wrong to say that when you give the king a chance. From here, the Emperor has 3 houses with 1 heart. Power increased, not less. It's even harder to deal with. The old man nodded his head. The emperor has not said anything. Walking back and forth thinking. Suddenly for a long time, there's a light in my eyes. It seems to have decided something about the horse, we said. Mr. Zima, is the 100 years of war about to begin? No, Your Majesty, 5 years later. The horse nodded slightly. Then he looked at the emperor and said, Does Your Majesty want to? Smiling for an hour, the emperor calmly nodded. The emperor claimed to be the head of the 7 kingdoms. Not even 1,000 years ago, he's always at the top of Sao. This time, if he loses, the pressure will drop. Then the monster family with him will also be distracted. Certain strength greatly reduced. You're nervous, you say, but for thousands of years, the king's talent has multiplied, especially this time. There seems to be a monster again. The remaining 6 houses, however, have genius. But compared to this person, it's far worse. The more rumors. This person is highly gifted. There's even hope. Breakthrough pledge God projection scene. To the point of becoming the head of the universe. I don't know in this young man's life. Who is his opponent? The emperor laughed for an hour. Talk about monsters. AI's been more overbearing than that little monster lately. Your Majesty, you are immortal. Zimawi and lonely battle sky eyes condensed. Say it together. The emperor nodded. Laugh out loud. I protected this boy, and was lost for so long. There should be some reward. Just need he can force the emperor in the 100 kingdoms. Then I will. It became the 8th generation. Control the expansion of the imperial gate. She and her husband looked at each other. Again quiet, not to say. This wise man, though talented, is very clever. That's the talent of the 7 kingdoms. They don't believe they can fight back. At the top of the festival. There is also the hidden genius of the emperor. Has not appeared yet. Unfathomable deep force. 5 years from now, it will be tough. Outside the palace at the same time. The royal family could have been safe. He turned to the wind and said, The Prime Minister Sand. May I ask you to help me this time? Thank you. Jia Sand Mayong smiling pale coat. Looking at the impermanent leader said, Ha ha ha. You don't have to thank me. This is not in the master's plan. Mr. Sao's butler. He said, turning around and leaving. A word doesn't say much. Look at his body. The impermanent leader is careful to say. The tiger is not the sand. The Emperor of Heaven nodded slightly. Keep your eyes on that side. Cold voice. He saw it all through. The Prime Minister of this land. No wonder you can be the head of the Four Pillars. What a scary character. Accepted to 150 for life and death sentences. At the same time, the farmer left for a small forest. Suddenly stopped walking. The corners of his mouth revealed a puzzling smile. The white-haired old man looked out at the sand and laughed. The Prime Minister today seems to be in the mood. NT0. Jia Chong Feng nodded and laughed for an hour. I saw a bunch of idiots today. I thought I won. But hey ha ha ha. Smiling for an hour. He suddenly stopped talking. The two men behind him don't understand. Full of doubt, looking at the head of the room. For a long time he didn't make it clear. Just deeply said. They have been in this world for more than 1,000 years. It's not unreasonable. Even the mind of the prophets cannot see. Dare to calculate again and again. That's all the math is, ha ha ha. And happily laughing out loud. Take your feet out of the alley. Feng Lin became Black Feng Sun. For shadows fell from the sky. It's the foremost evil people coming back together. Look at the 5-cup battle in front of you. Sheep inflammation high with ant serum revealed horror. If this is cool enough, you can buy it. I don't blame even the butler. They're all so generous. Weird devil tricks. It's just that Cao didn't hear about this family. Probably the most. Of course they know how to think in their hearts. But it's not clear. It's just making a decision, opening a path. Watch them speak up, Theo. Stop talking and lead in. Everyone was in a hurry to chase. Waiting to return home. Probably the most. Immediately summon everyone to the conference room. 2 new elders for everyone. The best way to show hands towards the usual divergence. Towards to sheep inflammation high thu. This is my lost lady. Often lost. After being taught by the scriptures. You to hear the name of the commons. My 2 eyes lit up enthusiastically. The sheep of the great lady. The lady is so beautiful. It's like a mortal fairy. I don't know what the next day will be. I often find them enthusiastic. I don't understand. Maybe I should or thank you. They're all magic masters. But it's very close. There's no feeling of overbearing. It makes her feel very comfortable. Probably the most suspicious. These to said Cao is also the first great ghost to shout the rain to the wind. Why is it unlucky for no reason? Please take this ordinary fecal filter. He looked towards the sky. Shocking tears hastily cough for an hour. Tilt your head. To make an unspeakable silence. Okay, if everyone is used to it. Let the others down. Lady, and seriously stay a little. Clapping is the best way to say it. Waiting for them to leave. Most likely, he's scanning his eyes towards the 2 of you. Sheep inflammation high said, starting today too. You help me watch the Black Deem in the south. And the northern video game. I'll give it to you in a moment. You 2 are serious about him. Linking the 4 great battles together. Reciprocal delivery. The land of my lost family. Clear sheep inflammation of the sea with ant serum. To hold the right to respectfully say. Listen, this is a prize. Immediately aroused excitement to the face. This time there are 4 great players supporting the battle. It's really become a rock solid. Even if you land 7 miles away from the attack, there's no need to worry. Then she is more assured. In the worst hands right now. Suddenly there's a flicker of light. Accordingly, there appeared a jewel brought to the 2 speakers. Out! If you have become my lost elders. My great housekeeper, of course I will not worship you. This place is a combination of life and death. I think it's quite appropriate for you too. This is not martial arts. It's just a set of tricks. You can bring your current strength. Infinitely advanced. To sheep inflammation high received the pearl. There's little doubt considering. For a long time, the two of them shouted something. Look at you two in amazement. Most likely the world continues to say the reason is called life and death. It's a way of life and death. Through two series of combined forces. The power to destroy the earth. But this power is not well controlled. It will destroy itself. So this secret is also called the death secret. I often hear this word, and I look at you a little. Emerging rays of interest. Open your mouth and let them practice. It's too dangerous. Her words just came out. To sheep inflammation high, not out of gratitude. Watching her silently moved. Of course the devil didn't fool them. Have a good relationship with this lady. It's really necessary. Most likely laughing and shaking his head. The lady doesn't have to worry. If someone else practices this magic, most will die very badly. But let's take a look. The water and fire arts of the two elders. It's a zero-gap combination. This proves that the two of them soon became spiritually connected. Understand each other very well. I am more understanding than myself. If so, the two of you, though, have the opposite properties. But the power of hydroplasma was born. They can definitely control it well. There is at least a 50% chance they will succeed. This word just came out. Two people startled in the spirit of uncertainty. Is the next normal stool also urgently say 50%? 50% is too small. Most likely, he slowly shook his head. He said blessing in danger. The more dangerous it is, the greater it is. You're both heroes. Shout the rain to the wind. These 15 principles don't need to be told. And there's one point we can make sure of. The power of this technique can be limitless. How powerful can you be? It's that powerful. Even the next day, two people join forces to challenge all 5 great households' long god guards. It's not impossible. In everyone's eyes, it doesn't hurt. Take a deep breath in uneasy terror. Long Lake, the guardian of the Emperor 7th. It is the most powerful force of the universe. Meeting someone is hard to deal with. Let's not say 5. Most probably I haven't said anything before. If you promise that, you will have this opportunity. In the interim, looking at the jade. Emerging rays of interest. Excited to say oh or let him train. The devil. Here's the butler. Give us a break. Sheep inflammation high protects the pearl in people. His watchful gaze toward the tears of horror. But most likely, he shook his head and sighed. The old. If you don't say die. What is this word? Endowment theory. Our power is much stronger than theirs. Shocking tears do not say. Most likely refused to give a shrug. Look at the two. Two sheep can't wait. Then start watching the treasure. But a moment later, 2 days later. In the blink of an eye his face flushed. God's people are in a hurry to speak. Why is this secret difficult to understand? Even you two can't solve it. Into this form. Let the old man see it. Don't add a series that doesn't work. The red-faced ant serum was horrifying. The sheep shyly bowed their heads. He butler track. Why did you take out a set of rules but 2? It's embarrassing. God's people hear this word. It's amazing what people hate to say. Law enforcement prison. His mother raped the old man anchoring alone goodbye. 255 The four elders. Probably laughing out loud a joke. This life and death situation needs to people of similar minds. The new law of contention can show its power. If two people can communicate, they are born. If the mind is satisfied with the two dissociations, then death. Hear this word. He glanced at the tears of laughter. The old man and I are single. This solution really doesn't suit our taste. The judge of this decision. Sheep inflammation high scratched his head, embarrassed to speak. We can't train either. My wife and I are not married. I am most likely to hear this word immediately. 15 people together are not really spouses. That's how it can be coordinated. Was like that. After becoming a certain Italian diet unexpected high. I think it's most likely that you have to bright eyes. See how this decision brings them. It can be trained to the extent that no one expected. Often clap a smile and say, just in time to get lost. We haven't been happy in years. Let the lady choose a good day. Let's organize for the two elders. To sheep inflammation high heard the red face. I also don't mind bowing my head. On the contrary, it is the most acceptable. His eyes widened for an hour. Choose what day to celebrate and what is the countryside. Now practice this set of rules for Lao Tzu. End words. Most guilty of lifting foot kick into sheep's buttocks inflammation high. Scare a few more questions. 15 At the side of a beautiful woman like Ho like Ngok. It doesn't solve people either. To waste people. Keep your face like a flower. 15 For you. But he's not angry either. One side pull the ant serum ROI away. Laugh the ant bar. This is the order of the butler track. We have no way either. For the sake of the family, let's have a little privacy. Virtue the ant serum glared at him. Bow your head awkwardly and leave. Look at the two people who don't leave. Emerged a fan ray. Is that feces? Often glance forward? Most profane lips say. They say people don't look back. Most people hear this strange word. Raise your eyebrows at her, as if I didn't understand what she meant. Tears of horror laugh again. Close to the person he whispered. My butler feels you should not waste. But he hasn't finished yet. Most likely, he glared one eye. He woke up and shut up. This person knows everything. But the flower fell deliberately, and the water flowed accidentally. Silently shaking his head. Big lady, big lady. He seems to be doing nothing to help her. But seriously, I see you two getting martial arts. Leaving suddenly to the side. The best laugh flattering. Track the butler. You see, other elders, you've given the ruling. I don't have to teach you knitting. Most likely, a small glance said. He scratched his head and laughed out loud. I say that, but except for training. The old man is also a private martial artist. They also pursue a higher life. All right, I get what you mean. He hasn't finished yet. Most likely, he had crossed arms. Then give him a jade floor. We are very devoted to the monarchs. But if you want, was the one. Of course I will try to satisfy you. This is Haiyan Zhao Senior Martial Arts 99 Nguyen La Chuang. Along with the preparation method, 9,981 kinds of strange people. Except for the lawyer himself. Unfathomable injury to the invisible Ra. 9,981 types of poison. There are 9,981 different types of mutations. Each type varies according to the individual. A school or religious vie destroyed, that appear endlessly transformed. I can tell you this is true. Unless the head of the family personally dissolves the basic, there's no fixed antidote. The judge of life and death in his hand. Take it. 2 eyes to look at the treasure. Take it in. Happy Face said. This one's much stronger than those 7. A heaven and a earth is incomparable. You are so generous. Seriously, according to the right person. It's okay to be less conscientious the day after work. Most likely, his hands laughed out loud. Tongue received martial arts non-stop nodding. The face of relentless excitement. This side silently clicks its tongue. Should he also lower his face? A warm embrace. Are you sure you are serious? But very quickly he shook his head. Leave greed to swallow, not drift. He's got enough friction. That's right now. Outside, black maple paint, suddenly infused with a loud echo. Brother CA comes to you. Sound blur just moved to Tai. Most people know who is coming. But he doesn't understand. What is Kier doing here this time? He thought not to shake his head. That's it? Where or where? Then he turned to the grave. Seriously, old man. He led all the new elders into hiding first. And then they turned to the polarized, often soft-spoken. Dear lady, welcome. Invite people to pick you up in person. Is that the stool is often slightly startled, not very clear. Then laugh for an hour. Raise your hand to the strongest side. But he. If you are a lady, you must also have gas. The butler helped Lady Ra. The doctor rolled his eyes. The worst scream. You're not even 7 or 80 years old. You can't walk. He often wants to be angry and afraid. Laughing for 2 hours. Haha, don't be mad. I said I want to get my hands back. But most likely, he held her hand. He wants to take her out. Makes her a little nervous. But very quickly the smile was all over her face. Probably not out of hiding. Is his mother still a ghost? You have to take a little girl out. Just a little bit of dissatisfaction. The feeling in my heart is not bad. He doesn't measure up to her either. Very quickly two people came before the black Feng Sun. Look at the big body full of meat. In front is normal. Not out of fear, this is the next mountain. It could be this big, eh? He came as expected of the greatest. The 3 princes of Vu Van Thong. This time his big body. That almost everyone's eyes were covered. He said with a gentle smile. Your brother is finally here. If you come a little later. I can't take it anymore. Most likely, the face can't. He sighed and said. This situation can even come to us. It's hard for you. Fat. Who says it's not? If it wasn't for my father, I wouldn't have thought. Running so far. The surgeon shook his head. Vu Van communicates the left and right of the two sides. Help me up the mountain. This place is really hot. Just finished. Four people immediately appeared around him. Take him with you. Probably looking at his body. Do not swallow a sip of fat saliva. Why are you so fat? Don't mention it. Father has been in a bad mood lately. If he is not good, take it out on me. It makes my mood sad too. Not eating, not drinking. It makes me sad to add a few hundred more meat. It must be 800 pounds by now. 2 is so painful. Vu Van Thong patted his round stomach, exclaiming a battle. It's probably more quiet here. Your mother is in a bad mood. You can gain up to 800 pounds. I'm most likely bored, sighing. It's a miracle. It's not. It's the same. Brothers, we all have a strange place. They are all God-given. I think you should probably give him a glance when you hear this. He thought he was praising him. Don't pay attention to him anymore. He looked back at the white man. Mr. Fang hasn't seen you in a long time. It's just fat turning into this form. You don't run Sao as a teacher. No Sao receptor white indifferent jacket hand. Look at the most obvious. Rich people have a precious place. Probably the most direct eye contact. To exclaim a sentence. It is true that the sky will be high. And suddenly right now, the white man turned to the black man and said, That's right, the boy must be close. You are like a fish meeting water. Stir to the sky dance cannot be quiet. Except 256 Wei Tianxian. Be quiet. The white man glanced deeply at me. But it's good. It doesn't work the same way. There is no boy you mess around with. There is no loss today. As if there was no objection. Just laughing out loud, ha ha ha. Let's go into the discussion. Just finished. He quickly sent the manure off and flying away. It's like worrying about the slow fat Kier. The batch method is also the most short pursuit in the world. Just for a moment, people quickly arrive at a holiday home. At the top of Black Fung Mountain, Vu Van Thong saw the resting place. Danger to sit down. Sighing hot, Lao Tzu died. You guys, come here. Let him use some force. Look at him and sigh. Probably the most relentless assessment. 3 years ago, this guy could have done a lot of things. But today with this situation, I'm afraid he seems to have abandoned it. And again, but the name he brought to Kier seems a little wrong. I think it's probably best to look at Vu Van Thong. They are not your subordinates. Why not let them serve you? They are the same. Do you know what their vi is? Vu Van through the eyes condensed Trin solemnly said. The most likely is blinking. That's right, Gao Gao is rare in the world. Sao can let them do this is not humiliating them, Sao. Vu Van seriously said. Probably the most gentle nod. Also have to. I think it is good for the elders of my house. At least, don't let them work as hard as drinking tea. Vu Van laughed and spoke again for 2 hours. My brother doesn't hide anything. Actually, these gladiators of heaven, not my subordinates, but yours. I'm sure the most stupid person can't help but laugh. I said, oh no, I can't say that either. I'm just a lost butler. They may be your followers. These false powers of heaven, they are all fathers. Let your families be elders. Lost to you. There was cake falling from the sky. It's about to rise. It's fun, isn't it? Often here excitedly exclaimed. These people. After that, it's all ours. And she didn't even finish the sentence. Probably the most lost hand. Tell her to be quiet. Then he turned to Vu Van Thong and said, Fat. Even if it's the celestial elders that the emperor gives, we also have to check it out. Let's see if he deserves to join us. Vu Van Thong was stunned to look at him. How can you be so calm? There seems to be a bit of a backlash. The lost family is at best a third-class family. Suddenly, falling from the sky 20 celestial masters. He should have been excited. What is the attitude like that? The white is also deep. Looking towards the most evil. His flashing eyes flashed a ray of light. But Vu Van Thong could not have expected. These guys, it doesn't get into your blue eyes. More than the current peanut workforce. Don't say first class. Even 7 families have to be careful. Once it's in the light. So these Thin Hyen. Basically, there's no need. Probably the slowest. Move towards the people in front of you. People look at it with their eyes. These 20 people are strong but not weak. But it's not strong at all. There's always pride in your eyes. The most comfortable way to casually say, you are the lost elders. At the butler of the house. After that, everything except Miss Ra. It is listening to me in command. And he hasn't finished yet. A guy who has yin-yang monster gas said yes. A little butler. It is also strange to be able to manage this lost elder. In the blink of an eye, the most visceral color quickly descends. Is the prize inside the hall seeing this scene? Immediately shake your head to complain. These people seem to be out of help. Most likely, when angry. Don't talk about her now. The elders are really mirroring the Kier scene. He doesn't respect the face either. These people don't know what makes you angry. You are finding your own way to die. Most likely, he glanced over. I said coldly, who said this earlier? At this time, a man who did not know how to live and I said yes. The hair has not grown enough. Not say 2 words. The worst man ever punched him in the face. Make him fall to the ground. Then coldly raised his voice calling out to Ra. You are so crazy. Dare to go out with our guard. Let the old man teach you. The old man rolled his eyes in amazement. He was most likely angry for half a day. He just finished his speech for an hour. I couldn't believe looking at him. Then slowly bow your head. The spirit is getting weaker and just dying. Where his chest was pierced through a large hole. But on the hand, fresh blood is slowly dripping to the ground. Drawing American graphics. People unconsciously take a sip of cold air.